You are listening to the Slow Living Podcast, and I'm your host, Stephanie O'Day. What if I told you that you could truly have the life of your dreams, the life you've always wanted, one filled with abundance, joy, and a sense of purpose? It's absolutely possible, and I see it each and every day with my coaching clients. It all starts with learning how to slow down. You deserve to live the life you've always dreamt about. Let's get started. Hello, Slow Down Society, and thank you for being here. I'm Stephanie O'Day, and we are on episode number 93, and that's just fantastic. And today we are going to do some celebrating. And celebrating comes in many different ways. I think sometimes people think that celebrating has to be a great, big, huge thing with a party hat and a noise blower horn and confetti and disco lights and music. And that is totally fun. And there's a time and a place for all of that. And yes, you can shake up the champagne and spray it around and, I don't know, make a kind of a sticky mess if that's your version of celebrating. But I want to talk about celebrating your wins on a somewhat regular basis, a daily basis, and just having them incorporated into the life that you're trying to build, the life of your dreams, the steady life, the sustainable life, the successful life that you've always secretly kind of hoped and craved and wanted and wished for, but it's not here quite yet. You're still on the path. You're still on the journey. And so it might feel a little fake and a little phony to celebrate along the way because you're not there yet. And so that's a mindset shift. And that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about shifting your mindset into one that nurtures you and cares for you and loves you every step of the way. Not just when something huge happens, not just when you've graduated from something or you've conquered this next big step or you've hit it out of the ballpark. I want you to celebrate all of the things that are helping you move forward because this is it. This is the one life that you've got, and it's really important to enjoy it and not just keep pushing off the fun parts. So it's something I've noticed the last few client sessions recently, and it's women who forget or they just don't bother to celebrate their everyday awesomeness. And maybe that's you. Maybe you feel it's self-centered or a little kind of show-offy to stop and collect evidence of all that you've accomplished. Maybe you feel like you just literally do not have the time and you've been practicing time blocking, but there's literally no time to do the fun stuff and there's no time to celebrate. And I want you to sort of play around with that a little bit and see why you're holding yourself back. That last episode that we recorded was on self-sabotage. So if you're sort of like mentally beating yourself up and flagellating yourself and being like, well, I'm not there yet. So I can't prematurely celebrate. I can't prematurely pat myself on the back. That's kind of missing out on the whole point of taking the time to slow down and taking the time to enjoy the journey that you're on. And life is long and you're not dead yet, but you're really only going to have today once. You're only going to hear me talking right here, right now in your earbuds once, just today. So stop and let's soak it all in. Where are you? What are you seeing? What are you smelling? What are you wearing right now? Everything you're doing you didn't used to do. And so just think about how kind of like mind blowing that is. Whatever you're doing isn't something that you didn't already. Okay, Steph. let's get to where your brain is trying to go. What I'm trying to point out is what you have now used to be a wish. So just even think about the shoes you're wearing or the clothes you're wearing. You didn't always have them. You weren't born wearing what it is you're wearing right now. It used to be something you didn't have. And then now you have it and you're wearing it. And you're doing the thing that you didn't used to do. And that is worth celebrating. That is worth enjoying and embracing and loving on. So when you think of a baby learning to walk, so I've got a nephew and he was learning to walk a few months ago. And it was just so fun to watch all of our extended family, all of the grandparents in the room cheering him on for every time he took a tiny inch forward with his cute little baby feet and then he fell. Nobody shamed him for it. No one told him it wasn't good enough, that he wasn't running a marathon or that he didn't book a 5K. No. He was cheered and he was supported and he was just rallied behind for every teeny tiny baby step he took forward. And that's what I want you to do. That's the life of your dreams. That's the life where you wake up and you're like, OMG, the birds are chirping. The sun is out. I get to live this. How freaking awesome is that? That is what life is all about. So what can you celebrate right now? What is going super well for you? Maybe you're having a great hair day, great butt day. Maybe you are just finding that you can touch your toes a little easier because the yoga is really kind of working. Maybe you're working on a writing project. Many of the women that I work with are authors, and they are working on writing their kind of version of their magnum opus, and they're trying to get their words out there, and they're beating themselves up and think it's not good enough. But you know what? If you wrote 500 words today, if you wrote 1,000 words today, that is something to be celebrated and something to be proud of, that you did this. You birthed these words and put them in the Word document. And that's amazing. That is just phenomenal. So step 3 of the 5 steps to slow living is to enjoy the here and the now and be grateful for all you have, what's already in your life. And this is tricky. This is tricky if you haven't made it to the end goal of whatever it is you're trying to achieve in your personal and professional life. If you haven't sold the book, if you haven't finished the book, if you haven't given it to anyone else to read because you're not quite there yet, it feels really uncomfortable celebrating the 500 words or the 1,000 words. But that's what I want you to do. So when my kids were little and they would come home from school and do homework, and we're talking like 2nd grade, 3rd grade, and they weren't super like rigid and self-motivated with their goal setting, I would set a timer. And for every 10 minutes that they did homework, they would get a Hershey Kiss. And so that's the kind of reward response that I want you to do while you're working towards all of your personal and professional goals. So if you're kind of type A and an overachiever, and most people who are listening to this are probably self-described type A, goal-oriented, action-oriented, overachievers. And if that's you, you are in the right place, because yes, we're going to teach you how to slow down, but that doesn't mean that you are going to give up on meeting your goals, exceeding your goals, living the life of your dreams. So when you are constantly moving the goalposts, you end up with this feeling of inadequacy, a feeling like it doesn't matter what you do, it's not going to be good enough, because instead of just taking the time to really be impressed by yourself and your actions, you're going to move that goalpost a little farther out. And so maybe this sounds like you. Gosh, Steph, you did this, but well, you could have done it this way, or you could have created this in a better way, or you could have not stumbled over your words a few minutes ago when you went blah, 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 into the microphone. No, instead, you're going to just smile and enjoy and relish in your awesomeness, even if you make mistakes, even if you stumble, because the fact that you are still here and you're still moving forward bit by bit, baby step by baby step, that's the work. And you're doing it. You're showing up for it. And wherever you're doing right now, whatever you have in your life right now, you didn't used to have. So enjoy that. That is absolutely something to celebrate. So I am getting better at this. Better. But this is something that I have to remind myself to do. This is something that I have to sort of schedule in to celebrate my wins. I worked with a business and a mindset coach for a while, and she sent me for New Year's a beautiful gold glittery bottle of sparkling wine. So it was from California. So you're not supposed to say champagne, but people, it's champagne. It just doesn't happen to be from France. So you're not supposed to call it champagne. It's sparkling wine. But it's this gorgeous gold bottle. And I haven't opened it. And so it was sent to me for New Year's with the idea to celebrate my wins. And I had a great New Year's, and I did all of the things that I was supposed to do. And it's just sitting here and it's on my desk. And so I think, okay, well, when I do this, this, and this, then I'll celebrate. Then I'll open the champagne. And you know what? I still haven't done it. I have met many personal and professional milestones, and this bottle of champagne has still been sitting here. And now I don't know what I'm waiting for, but it's here. So I want you to know the reason I'm sharing this with you is you're not alone in not wanting to celebrate and not wanting to feel like whatever you've done is worthy enough to celebrate. So many of my weight loss clients have a hard time celebrating each time they lose a pound or each time they move down a clothing side, because their celebrations used to be with food. And so they don't want to celebrate by going out to dinner or by making a cake or doing some of these kind of things that happen when many of us start to celebrate. And so we shift that and we decide on purpose before we've reached the milestone of what the reward will be. And so think about it. So if you're trying to lose weight, celebrate every pound. Put on some fun 80s music and do a little dance around the kitchen. Book a pedicure. Book a walk on a kind of challenging hiking trail that you wouldn't have been able to do 5 pounds ago, 10 pounds ago. Think about it. Maybe you're buying yourself a new pair of running shoes after you conquer this 5K. You know what's going to light you up and make you feel good. And then follow through. Give yourself that permission to have a little bit of a dopamine rush and really enjoy all of the things along the way. This episode, I'm recording it, but I can tell from my calendar, it's going to drop on July 17th. And July 17th is my wedding anniversary. So if you're listening to this and it is on the day that it dropped, happy anniversary to me and Adam. We have been married now 24 years. And we celebrate every single 17th. So for 24 years, so what's that? I'm going to do 24 times 12. What is that? 288. So 288 celebrations we've had. And silly things like yes, we celebrate and enjoy ourselves and each other and give each other hugs and happy how are you texts throughout the day. But in order to grow and nurture and feed and water and fertilize our relationship, we decided on purpose that for the 17th of every month, we would acknowledge it in some way. And often we go out to dinner when the kids were really little and we couldn't just get up and leave on a random Monday or Wednesday night, if that's when the 17 happened to roll around in the calendar, we would maybe get a pint of Ben and Jerry's and share it on the couch and cheers our spoons together and decide that's how we're going to celebrate. So figure out before you've met the next step, the next milestone, how you're going to celebrate. If you are trying to save for a certain financial milestone and you meet it, celebrate it. Book the vacation. And it doesn't need to be a huge vacation. One night in a nice hotel and cheers yourself and open that bottle of wine and shake up the champagne and do the things that really nurture and feed your soul. If you don't want to spend money, I get it. I am all for being sort of frugal with all of the things. And so figure out what it will work to celebrate. Maybe it's deciding to go on a certain day to go watch the sunset. And while the sun is setting, you're thinking and you're contemplating and you're writing down all that you have done to get to where you are right now. That doesn't mean that you're done growing. You're still growing. You're still moving forward inch by inch towards all of your dream life goals, all of your personal goals, all of your professional goals. But it does mean taking the time to pat yourself on the back. So some people at the end of the day, they write down a ta-da list instead of a to-do list. And the first time I heard this, I got to admit, I thought it was kind of cheesy. I thought, well, I don't know about that. That's kind of hokey stuff. But it feels good. It feels good to write down, you know what? I changed 9 diapers today, and 2 of them were poopy. And the last one was kind of a blowout. And I wasn't planning on giving an 11 a.m. bath, but that is what happened. And you know what? That's kind of a lot. And I'm going to reward myself. And I'm going to just kind of smile while I'm brushing my teeth tonight and take the time to pat myself on the back that I kept my composure. I didn't lose my cool. I didn't argue with anybody today. It was kind of a badass day. And I deserve whatever it is that I've decided that I deserve. One of the first business workshops that I went to, actually it was really interesting. It was kind of a fun trip. Blog Her. I was working for Blog Her at the time, and the Crockpot site was doing quite well. And so a group of mommy bloggers were flown to Atlanta to Coke. So Coca-Cola Corporation put on this like business kind of meeting for mom bloggers. And the first section of it was led by Elisa Camelhart Page, and she was one of the co-founders of Blogger. And she was talking to us about celebrating our wins. And it was a foreign concept for me because I'm frugal. So I joke around quite often that I'm Scottish, and one of the kind of stereotypes of Scottish people is that they're frugal. It doesn't necessarily mean that they're cheap, although sometimes it is, but it means that they're frugal. And so I've always just known the value of a dollar, and I've made things last. Instead of getting rid of a sweater, I will mend the sweater. Instead of upgrading furniture when we move houses, we just find a way to make it work. Adam and I, right now, we have all of the furniture in this house that we bought as newlyweds, and it doesn't necessarily match, and it doesn't necessarily feed the decor, and probably Joanna Gaines would not be super impressed, but we're cool with it. We've always sort of followed that Thomas Stanley Millionaire Next Door mindset when it comes to those kind of things, and it served us well, and we're proud of that. But Elisa Camelhart Page was talking about spending money and reinvesting on ourselves as the entrepreneur and the brand. And I've hated that term of being a brand, because I don't find myself a brand. I find myself a person. But she was talking about like what is the most important thing that you can do to, one, celebrate your wins, and two, just nurture yourself as the face of the brand. And I remember just kind of like pushing back on her. And I said, Lisa, I don't even buy like the good razor blades. And I was going to use the Venus razor blades as an example. Like, they have the aloe strip. They, like the commercial at the time just seems so luxurious. But I'm just going to start making up some numbers here. But the 3-pack at the grocery store of the Venus razors was $6.49, whereas my dollar store razors were 10 for $1. And yes, they did not have the aloe strip, and yes, I got razor burn. But to me, the same thing was the same result. I could shave the body parts and get the same result. But it wasn't an enjoyable experience. I was harming myself, sort of, in the process, in a way to what I thought was being a good steward of my money and being responsible. And so she just sort of joked around that I was worth the $6.49 to get a shaved leg without the razor burn. So huge, kind of probably odd example maybe for me to share with you right now. But I want you to think about that. Where are you holding yourself back when it comes to celebrating your wins? Because you don't think maybe you're good enough, or you don't think you're worthy to spend the $6.49. Where are you holding yourself back? Why, me, I'm going to talk to myself again. Why am I not opening this champagne bottle, this gorgeous gold glittery champagne bottle that's here on my desk right now? What is holding me back? And maybe it's fear. Maybe it's the uncomfortableness of thinking, if I celebrate now, this is as good as it gets, and I'm shutting myself off from any future goals and milestones. And so I'm not going to reward myself right now because I want even more. So tell me, how does that feel for you? Does that make maybe a little bit of sense? Maybe you got a tiny bit of a stomach punch? I know I do. Every time I do mindset work, I get reminded of all that I have worked through and gone through, but then also how much more there is. And that's okay. Because again, if we're lucky, life is long. This is the same lesson that I'm going to keep probably learning over and over and over again. And that's okay, because I'm here for it. And I bet you are too. So let me know if this kind of drudged up some sort of stuff for you, let me know. Email me, steph@stephanieoday.com. Find me on Instagram. Tag me. I'm sort of stepping up my Instagram game. So I'm playing around a lot more with stories and reels. And so I'm paying attention to it. So if you DM me on Instagram, I promise I will get back to you. But let me know what your thoughts are and where you think you might be holding yourself back because you're not celebrating your wins and you're not rewarding yourself as things come up. And I just want to thank you. I want to thank you for helping me celebrate and for helping me continue to stick with this for 93 weeks in a row. I am proud of all that I've said here, and I'm proud of you for continuing to show up. This has been a big commitment, and I just want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for being here and for taking time out of your busy day to listen and to learn. And let me know if you're ready to take the next step and you're ready to get a taste of what it's like to have support in helping you reach all of your personal and professional goals in a successful and sustainable way. Let me know. Reach out to me. Each week, I set aside a few free coaching calls for people who are ready to move forward, to stop feeling stuck. And together, we will talk through your biggest hurdle and uncover the mindset block that's been holding you back and keeping you stuck. You absolutely deserve to live the life you've always wanted to, and it doesn't have to be so hard. So reach out to me. Schedule a free coaching call at stephanieoday.com/mindset. And I only do a few of these each week. So if you want to see what it's like to have someone in your corner, helping you celebrate your wins and rooting you on and helping you move forward to all that you know your life has still ready to give, I'm here for you. Reach out, stephanieoday.com/mindset. All right, pretty people, consider yourself loved and hugged, and I will be here again next week. You take care. Do you have a slow living story to share? Leave me a voicemail at stephanieoday.com/podcast with any questions, comments, feedback, or testimonials, and I will be sure to include it in an upcoming episode. Also, if you found value in this episode, please share it with your family and friends and subscribe through your favorite podcast provider. The more you share, comment, and leave positive reviews, the more people we can reach and share the slow living lifestyle and messaging. Thank you, Slow Down Society, and have an absolutely wonderful day.